and hope you all are fine. As you know that I am the junior lecturer of Allahabad Institute and High School. Today we will discuss our second chapter, that is from civic subject for second year, and chapter name is Fundamental Rights and Directive Principles. Here the meaning of fundamental is central or primary rules or principles on which something is based. Okay. Now we will discuss that what are the fundamental rights and directive principles towards the individual and absolutely towards the state and society. The first personality who is known as the father of the Constitution is James Madison, 4th US President, and the father of Indian Constitution is named as, this is we know very well, that is Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, is also known as Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Now we will see in detail what is the fundamental rights and directive principles. The idea of the constitutionally guaranteed fundamental rights as historical background. Of course, already we have discussed that our constitution is based on the historical movements. Okay, then the Magna Carta 1215 of England and the Bill of Rights in 1791 of the USA and French Declaration of Rights in 1789 have inspired the fathers of the Constitution to incorporate some rights in the Indian Constitution. The British government's policies and administration for more than 2 centuries have created an urge in them to provide the citizens of India with the opportunity to participate freely in the democratic process of the nation. Exactly, all these rules and regulations, duties, rights are on the basis and the motive for freely participate in every process, every democratic process of the nation. Here, the father of the Constitution were inspired by Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was adopted by the UN, United Nations. So, the General Assembly that was held on 10th December in 1948, all the members of the UNO, United Nations Organization, in that India also was a member, were requested to respect these human rights and incorporate them in their respective constitutions for peace and welfare and development and for the better and better opportunities for all human beings and all societies and all nations also. Okay, here the directive principles of state policy are result of the noble ideals father of the Constitution. They were inspired by the directive principles of social policy of the Irish Constitution. These principles promote welfare state and ensure the social and economic democracy. So, the directive principles of state policy part 4 are non-justicable in nature. The directive principles of state policy, as they known as advices and suggestions for the future governments in developing welfare state, and they become the aims and goals of the governments. That's why only the Constitution has framed with certain fundamental duties, fundamental rights and directive principles. Okay. Now we will see the fundamental rights in detail. Here in fundamental rights are incorporated in part 3rd of the Constitution. These are mentioned in Article 12 to Article 35. The freedom movement for independent India is the spirit behind these provisions. Subcommittee of Fundamental Rights was constituted under the chairmanship of J.B. Kripalani in the Constituent Assembly to identify and to suggest for the inclusion of fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution, so that Annie Besant's Commonwealth of India Bill in 1925 and Nehru Report in 1928 are the guiding principles to these fundamental rights. Okay. After this introduction of fundamental rights, how they are framed and structured in the Indian Constitution and in which articles they have structure, we have discussed. Now we will see the features of fundamental rights. The features of fundamental rights are justifiable in nature, since the Constitution guaranteed for implementation of them through the judiciary. Okay. Then the fundamental rights are included in the Constitution because they are considered to be essential for the development of individual's personality and to preserve the human dignity. After this, some fundamental rights are negative in nature. They protect an individual from violation of liberty by state or other agencies. But here, some fundamental rights are positive. They provide scope to avail a freedom. These are available to all citizens of India irrespective of caste, race, age, gender and religion. Okay, these are not absolute. Some reasonable restrictions may be imposed by a state to protect the nation and the individual's freedom. Exactly, they have to. If there is no restrictions, means everyone can do anything, that will be violence or that will be non-violence. So, to stop that and to protect the humanity and to protect the freedom of individual, some restrictions are very essential to stop that and to protect that. Okay. After the features of fundamental right, then we will discuss the classification of fundamental rights, how they are classified and in what terms and in what articles they have classified, we will see. After the features of fundamental rights, now we will discuss about the classification of fundamental rights, how they frame and structure in the Indian Constitution and in what article what right has structure, we will see. In the classification of fundamental rights, see here first right to equality, that is framed under the article 14 to article 18. Then right to freedom, it is in article 19 to article 22. After that, right against exploitation, it is in article 23 to article 24. After that, right to freedom of religion, that is in article 25 to article 28. Then cultural and educational rights, that is in article 29 to article 30. And at last, the right to constitutional remedies, that is in article 32. Here the original constitution provides for the right to property under article 39, but it has been deleted by 44th Amendment of 1978. Now, right to property is a legal right by article 300 and section A. Okay. After this, we will discuss and we will come to know the details about the rights and their articles. Okay. After that, we will come to know about details in these articles and about the rights. First, we will go with the right to equality, that is under the article 14 to article 18. Here, the article 14 states that state shall not deny to any persons equality before the law or equal protections of law. State shall not discriminate against any citizens on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth or any of them. Okay, that no citizen shall on grounds of the above or any other be subject to any disability, liability, restrictions or conditions with regard to access to shops, public and restaurants, hotels and place of public entertainment. Every citizen can use wells, tanks, bathing huts, roads and place of public resorts maintained wholly or partly by the state funds that are dedicated to the use of general public. Okay. Then article 16 states that there shall be equality of opportunity of all the citizens in matter relating to employment, or to appointment to any office under the state. Then no citizen shall, on ground only of religion, race, caste, sex, descent, place of birth, residence, or any of them be ineligible for or discriminated against the respect of any employment or office under the state. Here, descent means the background of person in term of family or nationality. Okay, here we are discussing the right of equality. So, all these articles states that the equal right to everyone and to all citizens of the nation without any discrimination on caste, creed, religion, region, or their sex or their place of birth. Okay. After that, the Article 17 states that untouchability is abolished and its practice in any form is forbidden. The enforcement of any disability arising out of untouchability shall be offence and punishable in accordance with law. After the untouchability, only all these articles has framed in the right of equality. That's why here the Article 17 has defined and declared and states that there is no discrimination between the untouchability. If there is arises of untouchability problems in the society or in nation, it should be punishable by the order of the law. Okay. Then after this, the Article 18 states that no title excluding a military or academic shall be conferred by the state only. Okay, only, but no citizens of India shall accept any title from any foreign state. All these articles states and define the right of equality. After that, we will discuss the right of freedom. From starting, we are discussing about right, fundamental rights and fundamental duties and citizens of the right to equality, right to freedom, right to education. What is the meaning of right? Here, right means Aadhar or Adhikar. Now we will discuss about the right to freedom, that is structured under the Article 19 to 22. Here, Article 19 states that all citizens shall have the right to freedom of speech and expression, and all citizens have a right to assemble peaceful without arms. Every citizen shall have to form associations or unions, and every citizen shall have every citizen shall have the right to move freely throughout the territory of India. Okay, and every citizen shall have the right to reside and settle in any part of territory of India. After that, all citizens shall have the right to participate and shall have a right to participate any profession or to carry on any occupation or trade or business as they want, as per their wishes. They can participate and they can practice. Here, right to freedom means this is a very common right that nowadays everyone using this right very successfully. Yes, but note the freedom to acquire property in Article 13F was deleted by the 44th Amendment Act in 1978. But the Article 20 states that no person shall be convicted of any offence except for violation of a law in force at the time of commission of the act, charges as an offence, or not to be subjected to a penalty greater than that which might have been inflicted under the law in force at the time of the commission of the offence. Here, no person shall be prosecuted and punished for the same offence more than once. It's a positive. And no person accused of any offence shall be compelled to be witness against himself. Exactly. Then Article 21 defines and states about the right to life, that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to procedures established by law. This is known as right to life. According to law, towards our life, that we can't take our life. If there is a problems, if there is a personal problems or the depression problem, then according to Article 21 Section A states that all shall provide a free and compulsory education to all children of the age of 6 to 14 years in such manners as the state may or by law or determine, including through the 86th Amendment Act in 2002. Okay. After the Article 21, Article 22 states that no person who will arrested shall be detained in custody without being informed. Okay. Every person who is arrested and detained in custody shall be produced before the nearest magistrate within 24 hours of such arrest. Here, detain means keeping someone in official custody for questioning. Okay. After this right, we will discuss and we will come to know the articles which frame the right against exploitation. That is under Article 23 and Article 24. Okay. Article 23 states that the traffic in human beings and beggars and other similar forms of forced labor are prohibited. Then Article 24 states that no child before. Article 24 states that no child below the age of 14 years shall be employed to work in any factory or mine or engaged in any other hazardous employment like child labor. Okay. After that, we will see the articles which frame the right to freedom of religion. This is under the Article 25 to Article 28. Here the Article 25 states that the subject to public order, morality and health and other provisions of this part, all persons are equally entitled to freedom of consequence and the rights to profess and practice and propagate any religion. Okay. States can make law for regulating or restricting any economic, financial, political or other secular activity which may be associated with the religious practice. Okay. Here Article 26 states that the subject to public order, morality and health, every religious denominations or any session shall have the right. Here denomination means recognize a branch of the religious place. Okay. Article 26 states to establish and maintain the institutions for religious and charitable purpose, to manage its own affairs in matters of religion, and to own and acquire their movable and immovable property, and to admire such property in accordance with the law. After the Article 26, that Article 27 states that no person shall be compelled to pay any taxes, the proceeds of which are especially appropriate in payment of expenses for the promotion or maintenance of any particular religion or religious denominations. Okay. Then Article 28 states that no religion's instruction shall be provided in any educational institution maintained out of states one. Okay. Okay, up to here we will discuss about all this topic. Now we will continue in our another class. Thank you.